Good evening, Randomizer fans, and welcome to Final Fantasy Randomizer Fall League Melmond Murder Mystery. My name is Lord Fizzbeast, and joined with me in the booth today is Twinge. How's it going, Twinge?
Oh, going pretty well.
We have a very nice Fall League flag set today. It's got things that I have heard people asking for a while. We got Entrance Floor Shuffle, and we got Shard Hunt, and we got Alt Fiends, and we got Randomized Treasures, and we've got 100 to 300% on our bosses.
It's terrifying.
But we have pretty decent scaling on the gear, and we've got. See, the thing about Alt Fiends is that the Fiend 1s overall are far more forgiving. It's the Fiend 2s you gotta worry about.
Yeah, so unlike a lot of flag sets you may have seen in the past, the final boss gauntlet, they might be dodging almost all of your attacks. Chaos could have potentially 5,000 health and take a very long time to take down. They could still roll down a little bit, of course, but they can definitely be really scary fights this time around.
And on screen today, we've got 4 of our total of 11 runners. We got Moonrisen Phoenix, Luffy DV, Not Young Me, and Papa Dukes. And as we look around, what we can tell you is the first thief and the last red mage are forced. The 2 in the middle, runner choice, except for no black belts.
Yep, and we got the blessings in the chat there. So the fighter is just like a little bit better at being a fighter, a little extra magic defense. They start with some resistance for fire, time, and poison effects. Thief gets more equipment than they normally would, so they can equip shields and axes, little bonus starting gold, but a little worse at being a thief, so they can't run away as well. Red Mage starts with a Temper spell. So how that works now is they start with 2 casts of it in the level 8 slot, so they could potentially still learn Temper in the normal slot in addition to that. And the Red Mage also gets extra health with the Vitality, but misses out on the Heal 3 spell. White Mage can equip Legendary Swords, so that's Vorpal, Katana, and Excalibur right from the start. Which, if they happen to find an early one, that could actually be useful for a little while, but otherwise, often not going to matter too much on the White Mage. They get a couple extra spell casts, start with Gear 3. Black Mage, importantly, has Resist All, so that means they have a built-in ribbon effect. And they can also equip the Gauntlets and Helms, so all Gauntlets and Helms are equipable by the Black Mage, but their max MP cap is lower, so they can only have up to 5 spell casts of any given spell.
So as I look around, I see a lot of interesting solutions to this puzzle. I see Luffy going with the rainbow option for the thief. Decided that we don't want to fight her today. The thief will do the job. Papa Dukes going for the double melee build with White Mage and Red Mage. Moonrisen going also for the double melee Black Mage and Red Mage. And Not Young Me going for the double melee, also White Mage and Red Mage. Lots of different strategies on the table, and we're off. Entrance Floor Shuffle already in full effect. We got an unfriendly Canaria Castle. What else we got? We got level 1 Fast, Quad X, Quake, and Zap. We got nothing to help a lot of white
Fog
magic.
2. I mean, Harm 1 is actually useful right now, maybe, because we don't have any other actual AoE damage spells. I guess we've got the starting AoE damage items, so that could carry us. But
I'm honestly looking at that Cure 2. That could be clutch with some early lava floors.
Potentially, Cure 2 heals so little that I tend to prefer just using potions myself, but it could save you in some fights, potentially, too.
Very good news for our Force Thieves. We got a Rune +5 and a Dragon +7 sword out of the first shop.
Yeah, so they'll be grabbing these sabers because they're cheap right now and probably coming back for the dragon when they can afford it.
And good news for the mage heavy parties, we got them silver +7 bracelets. That's even better than a stock gold bracelet.
Yeah, that's some solid early defense for our casters. White shirt picked up by Luffy there, so that'll be picked up by everyone here momentarily.
Not gonna lie, I'm looking at that white shirt and I'm thinking vendor it.
That's a possibility. Like, it kind of depends on how much more gold we find deeper in the dungeon. Although, we'll see if we get deeper in the dungeon.
Yeah, shoutouts to one of our two trackers tonight, Duskbloom, cluing us in that we got a tail in the Canaria item shop for 1,200 gold. So now I'm definitely 1,000,000% selling that white shirt. I got
Mm.
things to buy.
That's interesting. Like, I've found that I don't actually want to promote a lot of times in this flag set. Like, it takes time enough to go back to Bahamut, but it can definitely be valuable at times.
Mhm,
And if you have the tail in advance, then when you stumble upon Bahamut accidentally, it doesn't take very much time, so...
mhm. So Luffy taking a look around Earth 1. So we got some funny looking boxes. They got some weird marks on them. What's up with that?
Yeah, so another important thing about this flag set is that it is a shard hunt. So the runners will need to collect a total of 32 shards in order to enter the Temple of Fiends at the end. So unlike normal, you don't necessarily need to kill all of the fiends, but if you do kill them, you will be rewarded with some shards. So 4 shards for the Tiamat and Kraken equivalents, and 2 shards each for the Lich and Carry equivalents. And I say equivalents because we've got alternate fiends on, so you'll see some new faces once we get to those parts in the game.
So already Moon Risen Phoenix bolting for the Dwarf Cave. I feel like there's a number of different interesting strategies for what happens right after you say go, right after you look at Canaria Castle. What direction do you head in?
I'm still undecided, and I'm gonna be racing pretty soon. But like, I see some advantages to both. I think you do want to kind of commit in one direction to some extent. Like,
Mhm.
I think you probably don't want to go to like Temple of Fiends and then back over to Provoker or something. But
Right.
I'm currently slightly favoring starting going straight to Provoca after Canary Castle, but like
Mhm.
I don't think it's wrong to go to Temple of Fiends at Dwarf Cave. Like there's you've got a couple
Mhm.
options and it's really hard to decide what's best. How about you, Fizzle?
I take a similar track, except my first stop is Matoya and then Provoca instead of doing like Provoca and then Matoya. It just feels closer and more of a straight line, although I don't think there's any real difference between the two. But the one or two times I've just declared the heck with it, I'm gonna go left, it has bit me in the butt. So I've decided, nope, we're gonna full clear this.
Sharks
Um,
with Thunder. Just gotta
ooh,
reset and at a not young me. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Like it's there's like a really subtle difference. Maybe you find the canoe in Provoca, so you can get to
mhm,
Matoya faster. But like
mhm,
Matoya's faster to start, and like maybe you find more useful equipment there, and you might
mhm.
have died in the overworld by accident getting to Provoca. Like,
There
but it's
was there was a practice recently that Lafane was at Matoya, and I felt like I won the lottery.
that's pretty nice. Yeah, getting the all the spell selections right off the bat there.
Because one of the flags that we have on for those not in the know is we have the Lafane Superstore on. Basically, what that does is our Lafane magic shops. No longer is it the single level 8 white black. No, no. We've got level 1 through 6 of white and black, and we've also got the level 7 on rack shops of white and black, and also the level 8 singular shop. So basically,
Yep.
everything that's not Gaia.
So as long as you have the money, you can buy basically all of your spells in
Mhm.
one convenient location.
So already I'm seeing some hairy parties for 5 minutes in. I'm seeing 3 Blue D. I saw 2 Gershark, 2 Big Eye. Like those are parties I want to. Those are formations I want to see like 20 minutes in, not 5 minutes
Yeah.
in.
One other important thing for those that may not know is we also have save on death on this flag set. So if you make it partway through the dungeon, loot some of the stuff, gain some levels, and die, you'll keep those levels, you'll keep that equipment, and you can go back in
Mhm.
afterwards. So that can even be a strategy where you are intentionally going to get yourself your party killed off so you can exit the dungeon faster. There's a lot going on with this flag set, in short.
So we've got Luffy and Not Young Me in the same place. Papa Duke's also there. Moonrisen is our bold, brave explorer of the featured runners. We've got sightings of Volcano Armory in Marsh Cave. This
And if
is
you see,
always such a lottery. There's so many boxes in here, but usually by the time I find it, I'm really interested in where the shards are, and this looks like Bubkus.
yeah, but this early on, just equipment and the random experience from the chest is probably pretty good. So
So, thank you, Dusk Plume, one of our two intrepid trackers, updating us that the C split in the Temple of Fiends location leads to both Astos and the waterfall. Astos is going to be one of those things we're gonna need to worry about later when we get a crown. Most of the practices that I have run have required me to full clear everything, so I would grab a pencil and paper and jot that down.
yeah, like if you see some of our runners stopping for a few seconds, they're probably taking some notes, like
Mm-hmm.
Moonrisen Phoenix just did there, to make sure they can get back to places they need to get back to.
Mm-hmm. And we've got the cube now. I feel like it's an important distinction to draw of normal game versus entrance floor shuffle. So normal game, yes, you need the cube. You need the cube to go see Tiamat. Entrance floor shuffle, needing the cube is a question mark. It might be guarding a dead end. It might be guarding a room with no boxes in it. It might be guarding a split that leads to two fiends and like 40 shards.
And
It's
yeah, exactly. Just wanted to point out real quick that Moonrisen picked up a ribbon on the sky floor here. So
ooh.
ribbon's always very nice, gives protection from
Mhm.
all elements.
And we got an X-Cal. One who's got legendary swords? I think it was
White
a
Mage
white mage.
does, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I forgot it. Okay. So that white mage can actually do some damage right now, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, like the X-Cal is going to be doing plus 30 damage to almost all enemies in the game, so
Mhm.
that's pretty solid this early on.
If it's got a type or an elemental weakness, the X-Cal goes nom nom nom.
Most commonly thought of as everything other than Chaos, which is Chaos is not typed. There's a few others that are not typed, but you
Yeah,
don't usually care about them as much.
right. It's one of those things where like the other things that aren't typed have like a laundry list of ways you can kind of rip them apart. Chaos has a shorter list, and it's notable that the X-Cal's not on it.
Yep.
Question in chat, is Force the shards? It is. The shards get random names based on the seed. It can be Force, it can be Bigs, Wedge, Pieces, Shards. Um, but yes, today the role of shards is being played by the Force. Orbits.
Orblix, yep. So it looks like only Not Young Me and Luffy have picked up their tails from the item shops there.
um, with a with a thief, if I'm looking to have my thief carry and there's nothing special about it, like I don't want to leave Canaria without that tail at any price I have to pay to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Luffy definitely wants the tail.
Mhm.
Um, like there is an incentivized Masamune, which of course the thief can still wield, but if you can find a katana or the Masa rolls low, the thief really is gonna want some more options.
Mhm.
Papa's poor thief being pieced down one damage at a time here, or a fighter rather. Looks like we got TNT that Moonrisen just picked up in the sky fourth floor there.
Mm. Ooh, I love a good zap kill. I just noticed Luffy bullseyeing a Chimera with zap, which is actually kind of a low chance. Zap is one of those spells that, on text, yes, the only thing that resists zap is chaos. However, the accuracy is bad enough that anything with high MDef effectively resists it.
Mhm.
So it's one of those spells you want to use it in the first, like in the lower hemisphere, in like Marsh or Earth or Volcano. You kind of really don't want to use it in Sea or Mirage or Sky. But if it's all you got, it's all you got.
Yep. Not young me. Also finding a ribbon over here in the Sky 5 or whatever.
Seems to be a lot of ribbons. Maybe
So there's so in the vanilla game there's only 3 ribbons. One ribbon will be incentivized in this run, but another thing that is spicy about this flag set is that we have randomized equipment generation. So there could be theoretically as few as 1 ribbons and as many as who knows how many, but I've seen as few as 2 ribbons and I've seen as many as 7 ribbons generated in a single
yeah.
seed.
I think 7 is also my record high for number of ribbons in a seed. It was just like I'm being taunted. These are all the ribbons that I see in all the other seeds I've run.
Exactly. I did have at least one case where I dropped a piece of equipment to pick up a 5th ribbon because I just like, well, of course, it's a ribbon. You want it, right?
Yeah, obviously you pick it up. Why wouldn't you? So I think this is our first look at Elfland area. We see the Q block,
And
which
Moonerson does not have it, unlike everybody else.
right,
So
and
that exploration tendency potentially being punished there.
mhm. Oh, that Sky 3 has gold bracelet next to that ribbon. That's
But it's an unupgraded one, so like the silver
yeah,
plus 7s are
yeah.
just as
We can
good.
sell it to buy a silver plus 7.
Exactly. Next level strats right there.
Coral sword out of Matoya's cave. In case we didn't pick up any thief weapons, there's one.
Yeah.
So, and that looks like that's it for Elfland Castle. So, based on everything I've seen so far, I don't know that I've seen a runner dip Provoca, or if they did, I missed it. Um, so I think we need to take that cube and take it down to Elfland Town and figure out what's down there.
Probably. Luffy did just pick up a katana, but it rolled 0. So that's a mineral katana for the like ninja, eventual ninja.
It's gonna look great in some vendor shop.
Look, that is clearly the white mage's katana.
That's one of the fun things about the randomizer. I think especially about this flag set is that for so long, so many of our competitive flags, the weapon scaling is at like -3 to +3 or something like that. So you look at a 0 and you're like, hey, success. But in this flag set, it's just like a 0. Oh man.
Yeah, it can
It
be
could have been
hard to
so
kind
much better
of,
than this.
yeah, difficult to kind of change your mindset around it a little bit because you're kind of used to thinking of 0 as being average, but in this case, like 3 or 4 is average. So.
Ooh, shout outs to Duskplume updating me that Not Young Me is in Provoca right now, and it's the ice loop. So there is an incentive here.
Very good, very good.
But is it one we want? Our answers are either this ice loop or taking the cube down to that Q block.
Yep, yep. So at least one of those is going to be ship or canal, I assume.
Canoe is also on the table.
It can be, yeah. Like, from what I've seen, it seems like this flag set ends up really kind of prioritizing ship and canal a lot sooner than some of the other flag sets, but it is still possible to get the canoe earlier.
Question chat, wait a minute. Can't thieves equip axes? They can today. And also shields. Yeah, oh, thank you, Dark Twinge, for the blur sings. Man, I gotta. Do you prefer Dark Twinge or Twinge?
Either is fine.
All right.
Which is the lazy answer, I'm aware. But
I'm a big fan of the lazy answer. I appreciate it. So yes, we can have thieves with that light +7 axe, which a stock light axe is like a slightly worse silver sword, so having it at +7 is actually pretty monstrous.
Yeah, that's a legit weapon for sure.
Mhm. Uh, TNT from somewhere gives us our boat. Oh, no, that wasn't the waterfall.
That was from the sky. Well, I don't remember where the entrance
Oh,
location was,
oh,
but it
right,
was
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
sky.
the sky 2 floor, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yep. And Canal from Provoca there, the ice cave loop.
so Moonrisen and Luffy each have half of the puzzle.
Yep,
You
yep, yep.
just gotta figure out the other half. Meanwhile, not young me, down to a solo red mage. If we can make it to that incentive box, we're in the clear because we don't have to make it out with it. We just got to make it to it.
Absolutely.
Couple greedy box checks on the way. Yeah, ice +3 sword is massive. Tiger
Yep,
is
they got there.
spooky. And a canal. So 18 minutes in, and we've got not young me leaving Provoca, canal in hand. Needs to solve the ship problem. Luffy similarly solved the problem, but is doing a little bit more of a full clear. Papa Dukes, I believe, is also in the process of solving the canal problem, while Moonrisen has got a boat. No idea what to do with it.
Yep. At least they can sail back over to Provoca more easily.
It's true. The speedboat will provide for that.
Oh,
Oh, was
they
that a reset out and not a wipe? Oh no.
yeah, I'm not sure if that was a reset or if they just hadn't saved for a very long time.
Yeah,
Has to be one of
that's
those things.
that's the question.
Okay, Moon did wipe. They just hadn't saved for a long time. Okay.
So the boat
So
is probably where it spawned then, which um
I think it was at it'd be at Elfland Dock, I believe, yeah.
yeah.
Well, they're gonna go
I'm
find the canal and then have to walk all the way back to their boat.
I mean, I used to be an experienced player at Where's My Boat, but apparently I've lost practice. Because I had no idea where it went.
The one weirdness is that the boat can like warp in some cases to try to prevent soft locks, and I don't know exactly the circumstances of that.
I don't know that the boat necessarily warps. I do know that you can sometimes warp to your airship.
That as
Um,
well, yeah.
but I don't know if I've ever seen the boat itself move.
I think did not Young Me forget they already have the tail? Because I thought they just went to the Bahamut floor and then just reset out of it.
I think so.
Understandable. Like I haven't like the tail almost always seems to end up so late that I have a hard time using it in this flag set, so it's unusual to find it this early. But
Mm-hmm. Comment in chat. Honestly, would like to have an always spawn the boat at Canary option, just so I don't have to think about it. I believe in ancient times, that is basically how entrance floor shuffle functioned. Was that they didn't know how to code to properly tell the randomizer where you find the boat, so they just said that, look, no matter what, you're going to have access to the Canaria dock, so it will be at the Canaria dock.
right, yeah. So the way it's like kind of supposed to work now, basically, is based on the location on the overworld. Whichever dock is
Mhm.
closest to that is where the boat should spawn. So if you find the boat at like Marsh Cave or Elfland Castle or whatever, then it'll spawn at Elfland. if you find it at Temple of Fiends, it'll actually spawn at Canaria. That one's actually kind of complicated because like the Dwarf Dock is technically closer right now, but
Yeah.
only with the right map edit on, and
Yeah.
so it's hard. But that's the general idea anyway. It's supposed to make it easier.
Mhm. It's just sometimes I just, I find the ship, but it's not like the last floor in wherever I am, or it's like I just got it at Elflin Town and now I have to dive Elflin Castle, and by the time I come out of wherever I am, I'm just like, obviously I have completed everything, onward to the next thing, and I just don't check the dock until I'm on the other side of the inner sea, and I'm just like, oh yeah, there's a boat down there.
Yup. No, I've like people talk about like forgetting they have the bottle or things like that, but like I've never had any problems with that, but I have absolutely like even early game, just like immediately go to like Matoya's, find the boat loose there or something, and then immediately forget and just start walking to Provoca. Like,
And I believe Luffy might be our first to promote here.
looks like it, yeah. Not Young Me could have, but either chose not to or forgot. Another flag that's on is you'll see Luffy is now fighting Bahamut. You have to prove your worth to promote.
We're going with defense and fast strats. Now I see why the thief was moved down to the third slot. 2 hits 65 out of the white mage. Respectable for what I think are the low levels we're at. Black mage gets detonated in retaliation. Single hit 65, we're doing okay. Defense goes off, fast goes off on the white mage, and it survives a hit. Well done.
Go white mage.
We're on chug strats. Incoming melee to the thief misses. 6 hits 75. At least we're hitting. 4 hits 58. So this Bahamut's stats are based on... Is this buff? No, this isn't buff Bahamut. So I believe it's based on... Last I heard it was based on like an Ankylo. So it's going to have high MDef, really high attack power, few hits, kind of a decent chunk of health. So we just got to muster 500-600 damage or whatever and not get crit through evasion. And
yeah, I know it
we'll
takes
have
the
ourselves a ninja.
slot of an Ankylo, but I don't know what the actual stats are. It's usually not too scary, but we're also fighting it earlier than usual, but Luffy takes it down.
And away we go.
Another fun thing you can do is you can actually fight Bahamut's minions now, due to a recent update as well.
Yep. If you absolutely need the experience of a single dragon kill, there they are.
Gas dragons are worth a lot of XP.
Zombie dragons, relatively speaking, are not. So you're rolling the dice. Question chat. Wait, what? You can fight Bahamut? You can now. Bahamut comes in 2 flavors. Regular, which is based roughly on an Ankylo, kind of, but kind of stronger than that. And buffed Bahamut, which is modeled after Tia 2, and I think also pulls from the Topher Fiend spell and skill pool, but it doesn't like take things out. It just copies things that are in there.
And if you wanted to look over the like flags in detail, you can go to the Final Fantasy Randomizer site, and then it'll bring up the presets. You just scroll down to click the Fall League Week 1, and you can look through all the different flags that are currently active right now.
We also recently updated the live site. If you haven't been there in a while, we've got some pretty decent presets that are kind of geared towards newer players, intermediate players. If you ever looked at our randomizer and thought, good gravy, there's way too many flags, I kind of really like a lot of the presets that we have right now.
Yeah, presets definitely a good place to get started and kind of introduce you to what the randomizer is capable of, which is like all the things, basically.
Last time I played Final Fantasy Randomizer, you can get between 4 final bosses. We have improved that list to, I think, 8. At various levels of don't try this at home.
As far as the number of alt fiends available right now, there's a 21, I think, possible alt fiends.
21 possible alt fiends, of which we've selected 4. Each alt fiend has its own spell and skill list that then gets shuffled around in the pool. Um, what that means eventually for Topher is that the only things we can count on being there are the things we get from Chaos and Warmech, because those don't change. So we know there's going to be 4 nuclears, and we know there's going to be 1 nuke, 1 cure 4, 1 slow 2, um, and also 1 crack.
Mhm.
Uh, and some other stuff that we vaguely care about. But those are like the big ticket items. But the alt
Right.
fiends, they can add nukes of their own. They can add nuclears of their own. Asura can do a ton of healing magic, including more cure 4s.
Moon Risen has now picked up their canal, so now they're the only person that can leave the inner sea, although they are going to have to circle all the way back to their boat, as we had talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting position to be in. Um, Ship and canal at 27 minutes probably feels very slow, and yet it's the fastest on stream.
Right.
These flag sets are all over the place with how fast you think you're going versus how fast you're actually going.
Yeah, a lot of some of the earlier tournaments and stuff, like say spring tournament earlier this year and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you ended up with final times like 45, 50 minutes or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's very unlikely to see anyone finish under an hour in this flag set, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And there's Not Young Me, second person on stream to solve the ship canal puzzle.
Have we seen what's behind the Q block?
I don't remember seeing it off the top of my head. Um, oh, our handy dandy tracker uh, has
On rack.
posted.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, so a second key behind the first key. Nailed it.
Yep. Thank you kindly, Danny.
um, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, in the normal game, Earth Cave has the rod lock and Mirage has the cube lock. But at Entrance Floor Shuffle, you could get behind that cube and suddenly there's yet another thing you need a key for.
Blocks are no joke, so. All right, Dragon Sword for Papa. So they've got that Dragon Sword plus 7. They pulled it from a chest, it looks like, rather than buying it at Canaria. Moon Risen finally finding the Elf Castle and White Shirt that other folks found earlier.
Oh, I missed what's causing petrification. It looked like it was something spider based.
It's
I
usually
don't know if that
something
was
spider
Stone Touch or
based.
a skill.
It's funny, like as a tracker or as a viewer, it's always like, how are the announcers missing all these things? But as an announcer, it's like, I'm just gonna miss everything.
Look, I'm gonna level with you. 4-person entrance floor shuffle, really hard to keep track of.
It is very hard. Hard enough time keeping track of one person when I'm racing it. Like, where did this go again?
Mm-hmm. None of our intrepid runners have left the inner sea just yet. It looks like Not Young Me and Moonrisen are kind of just making sure that they've cleared out all their inner sea checks before heading off elsewhere. I don't hate it. I love the completionist aspect of it because so many times, you think the randomizer is telling you, here's ship canal, head off elsewhere, and then you head off elsewhere and realize that there was like a canoe sitting right next to both of those things.
Yeah, that's always like an interesting choice for sure. It feels like a little better than average to kind of leave out to some extent. Like like
Mhm.
it also depends a little bit on how good you think you are compared to the other racers. Like I think
Hooray!
excellent. Uh, if you think you're worse than the other racers, you might want to be taking more risks and kind of taking a little bit
Mhm,
more unusual plays to try to get yourself an advantage there.
mhm.
Not Young Me taking the semi-intentional death out of Marsh Cave, I believe. I
And
like
Papa
that
Dukes,
play. I was just gonna say I like that play quite a bit, where it's like, all right, I'll try to get like a couple levels while dying so that I can warp out of the cave faster.
I have taken intentional deaths on grind tiles before, not gonna lie. Um, sometimes it's just faster
Yup. Pop is
because we don't
working
have
on their
exit.
promotion, as you said, we're saying there, and their fighter's doing real damage
Ooh,
already.
that was a lot faster. And we're gonna take the bonus ones. Our bonus dragons today are a blue D. We're trying to death warp out of here, but the blue D says, no, 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 no. I have terrible spells. You're not going anywhere.
Like the other advantage of death warping is like so sometimes it can just be faster than walking out, but
Mhm,
sometimes you just are like, well, I don't have any way to easily revive my party members, so
mhm,
this will give them a revive and get all their magic back and everything. So it could be like a
mhm.
free house and stuff too.
I saw the blue D cast crack, and unfortunately didn't stick anywhere. And then
Yep.
I saw the fog 2 and the invis 2. Ooh, melee swing for 108. Progress is being made.
At
Second
least
melee swing takes us down to 56.
at least the thief is already dead, so they aren't constantly dodging all the attacks. Not
Mhm.
Young Me heading over to promote themselves there.
So Moonrisen gets the cube. Not Young Me also gonna do the promotion thingy. And Luffy, while I was looking away, also picked up a boat, but like everyone else, is clearing out inner sea checks first.
Hmm. Dragon armor +6 at some point Papa picked up and now has on their promoted knight.
So, following up a conversation in chat, how exactly does save on game over function? Well, it does everything it says on the tin. Whatever levels, gold, gear, shards, etc. you have when you wipe, as long as you don't soft reset, you just like hit the button through the death sequence, hit continue, you will respawn at the last place you saved with all the stuff you just had. Also notable, and this is the part that is slightly unintuitive but overall works better, is that regardless of your party's condition when it's saved, you now have the whole party back to life, full health, full charges, full everything.
Yep, yep. So it really gives a lot of room for some creative, like intentional death warping and stuff, and whether you want to take the risk of the time that's going to take to do, and what benefits you're actually going to gain, and just kind of adds
Mm-hmm.
another layer of depth to this flag set here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, given some issues in the past with entrance floor shuffle has been like a reliance on warp and exit, but between deep towns and save on game over, exit's no longer the absolute requirement that it used to be. It's still perfectly good, don't get me wrong, but it no longer feels like I need this or I'm going to be 20 minutes behind.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like it,
Yeah.
warp and exit still certainly useful spells, but just
Mhm.
not as like binary. Not oh, if you have this, you are way ahead of those that don't.
Yeah. So we've got Papa Dukes clearing out Armory, Moonrisen leaving TOF, Luffy gonna get the bad news about what's behind Q Block.
It's interesting on Papa deciding to clear out all those extra chests there and stuff. I usually don't find it too worth taking the time. Like, you're going to find enough chests to get your shards elsewhere.
There's, I think, something to be said for how desperate you are for gear.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at a double melee party, I understand wanting to open boxes until you find a second, not just functional, but decent melee implement. We know we're going to find the Maza at some point, but like we've got a Excal 0, that's not great. We've got a Katana 0, that's not great. We're probably looking for a Vorpal or like a High Sun Sword or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or just more ribbons. You can never say no to ribbons.
I mean, we do only need 3 with any team that has the black mages anyway, since they've got the built-in ribbon.
Question in chat: what is a 0? I believe that referring to gear. So Blursings, the Blursings on this flag set, I believe, are 0 to +7. So if it's 0, it's exactly how you remember it in vanilla. You can go to a game FAQ right now and look up the stats on it. But then as you add plus numbers to it, the stats go up. For every plus, you get 3 to crit rate, 2 to damage, and 1 to hit percent, I believe is what it's at. So +1, +2, and is neat, but given that the cap is +7, if you can find something up in that 5 or 6 area, it's super worth. A good example that I like to try to use is that like a sun sword is like an ice sword plus, I think, 4.
Okay, we've got a lot of spicy things. Warbeck by Luffy. Moonrisen's fighting Jin in the Lich spot, and Not Young Me is fighting Rubicant in the Tiamat slot currently, I believe. And Rubicant actually fell pretty easily.
Not bad. For that was pretty good for taking down a Tia Fiend. Luffy's about to do the same thing. Meanwhile, Moonrisen found Jin somewhere.
That's at Tia East, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So 2 fiends right next to each other. Not bad. Having said that, Jin. I don't remember anything about Jin. Rubicant by himself will be adding 2 more nukes to the Topher Fiend pool. And some other things, whatever, but and I think another nuclear or 2. But the thing we're concerned about the most is the 2 nukes.
Yeah, I think it's Jin doesn't have anything too notable, just a bunch of extra fire. Dark Moon linked in chat if you want to see the specific spell loadouts of the different alt fiends there. And piercing, it's not Warmech anywhere. No, they just that's the Bridge of Destiny. That's where Warmech normally spawns. That we just saw it on Luffy's screen. So it's just the normal place for Warmech.
Warmech is in his natural habitat. The Bridge of Destiny, however, is not.
Right. Yes.
And thank you, Dark Moon, for the Jin skill list. The extra slow 2 and nuke, so we're up to 4 nukes. Skills isn't very scary. I mean, Inferno is rough if you can't resist it, but the rest are just whatever. So
it looks like Earth Cave is rod locked. Imagine that.
The palette isn't even wrong. What is this? So yeah, we're already up to 4 nukes in the Topher Fiend pool, and we haven't even seen 2 of the fiends yet.
Yep. And there's Luffy with the Tia equivalent taken out there, Rubicant.
And there's Dark Moon posting the Rubicant skill list. So yeah, 2 nukes and a nuclear, and then a lot of things we don't care about that we really want to see instead of those things I just said.
Yep. And the fighter does even have built-in fire resistance, so they'll always be able to resist all those fire 3s that Rubicant and Jin are adding to the pool.
So we just found Temple of Fiends, and I am not recognizing the background, but my gut says it's a Cardia?
So be Cardia Bahamut, or... Because I'm just trying to think of like where Not Young Me could even be. It would have to be one of the Bahamut Cardia Islands, I think.
Well, we could hit the Bahamut Cardia Islands, or we could hit Onrak. Okay, we're
Yeah.
at double bottom. Yep. All right. So there's TOF at double bottom.
Luffy with Shen taken out. Moon Risen about to be taking out Rubicon most likely. And that is correct. Yep, they're both weak against ice.
Mm-hmm.
The first version of them is anyway, not the
Right.
second version.
As I recall, the second version, it's not weak to it, but it doesn't resist it either, and it just gets
Right.
resistances to most everything else except, I think, time.
Yeah, they get the normal resistances the
Mm-hmm.
Fiend in that slot would have had.
Mm-hmm. So Luffy headed to Crescent, which I think might be our first look at it. Meanwhile, not young me, in a Marsh split, which I believe is a double top.
Think so, yeah. Luffy heading over to Crescent Lake.
Ooh, a Melmond. What have we
Feels
got
like
here? Level 5
feels like
magic.
Melman's always one of the halves of the split there for some reason.
I know.
Harm
So we got
4?
Harm 4. That's not bad. What do we got in black? We got Promo Locked Bane, I
Bane.
guess.
We
Sure.
got promoted. We can at least get it. Oh right.
And
The tail is also here because the shops are actually shared due to the way some of this works. So.
right. I forget exactly what the mechanism is behind it, but due to Melman being fixed and another town being borked, some item shop somewhere got duplicated. I think that's telegraphing to us that Lafane is going to be the town that was attacked, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I believe that young me did buy a second tail. I think I saw that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna go for the rare double promotion here.
Can never be too careful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pickle's pointing out a Vorpal +4. I didn't actually see who got that.
Vorpal +4 is exactly the thing that our double melee parties want. If we can get that with a Maza going, that'll be real good for us in Topher. I remember doing the math, and the way where I landed on it was that Katana was basically a Vorpal +2. So I think the Vorpal +4 is going to be just better.
Yeah, that sounds accurate to me. Like crit, given how beefy the in-game bosses often will be in this flag set, like crit is kind of king. Like having a huge chunk of crit can be really, really helpful. Like that Vorpal +4 is definitely going to be better than like a Masa +0, I would say.
Yeah. I missed level 3 magic because we found ourselves in Elflin. We got White Locked Exit and White Locked Heal 2. That's awkward. Trekker Duskplume telling us we had Saber and Ice 2 at level 3. Nothing super good.
Nothing too exciting. Although we do have early promoted ninjas that could Saber, so that is a spell that'll actually be relevant potentially that often isn't.
Cure 4 White Locked Cure 4, Promo Locked Fade. Seems good.
So weird seeing the promo lock not really being relevant right now.
And we got Lightning 3. We got both lock spells on the same level, and for that, Red Mage it shares a level with Fade and Cure 4. That is awkward.
Unfortunate. Yeah, lock I consider very important in this flag set. The enemies in the final dungeon can roll up to 230 evasion, meaning you've only got about a 12% chance to hit them at all. And being able to bump that up even a little bit can make a really big difference.
Yeah, people commenting in chat that lock feels absolutely required. I have to agree with them. At first, I thought I could get away with it, but I hit I had a practice Topher that had basically 2 evade capped fiends in it. Well, it was a fiend in chaos that I just could not make it through without going back and finding Lock wherever it was.
Well, 6 magic with life and harm 3. This is at the on-rack location on the map, the Crescent Lake town here. And temper at level 6 as well.
Question chat. Or sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying Luffy's at the superstore, so they've got all the magic available up there.
Question in chat. If I remember correctly, the Vorpal in Katana is generally buffed compared to the version in Vanilla. Is this true, or am I misremembering? Well, kind of. Essentially, as Tarnan in chat points out, since there was a bug in the NES where the crit rate basically was based on where the weapon was in the weapon table versus the actual crit rating listed on the weapon, those crit rates have been fixed to work as displayed, which means the Vorpal went from like no crit to like 30% crit. Meanwhile, the Excal went from like 30% crit to like no crit. There's some other changes, but the 2 most important ones is that Katana and Vorpal got a huge buff.
Yeah, I believe like Vorpal actually and Katana both actually had decent crit before. It's just that so did all of the other good weapons. So now they're the only 2 weapons that truly have a ton of crit.
I think it went up even from base, but I don't remember. And
it
also,
probably did slightly, yeah.
Cat Claw went from Vorpal level to Silver Sword. So getting a quick look at shards, I see Not Young Me on the board with 16. I'm gonna see if I can start getting a shard count from other people, or mayhaps a tracker help me out.
Racers are too fast. It's hard to get those shard counts.
It's real hard. So Papa Dukes is at 17.
And as a reminder for those that didn't catch the explanation earlier, this is a shard hunt. We need 32 total shards to be able to enter the final dungeon and be able to win the game. Most of these are in random trap chests, like the one Not Young Me is fighting right now. And you can also get shards by defeating the normal fiends, which is not required, but you'll usually defeat several of the fiends for shards.
I know I had to look this up recently for planning, and there are, no matter how many shards you're required to get, there are 36 shards in boxes. So 36 in boxes and then 12 from fiends, of which we need 32. Moon Risen is at 14 shards. So I think it was 14 Moon Risen, 16 Not Young Me, 17 Papa Dukes, about to be 21 Papa Dukes. Luffy, please open your menu. Luffy, please.
I don't want to.
I'll get him in a minute. We've got Papa Dukes versus Rubicante. We're going to go with some fast. We're going to go with some evasion strats. That white shirt is coming out. Fast goes off, 3 hits, 22, I think. Red Mage gets absolutely bodied.
700 damage.
Invis 2 goes off after the nick of time. We're going to try that again. Night Melee, 9 hits, 173. That looks better. White shirt goes off. Our evasion's at 2 stacks of 6. Single hit for 33. Pretty good. 3 hits, 53 out of the ninja. We're going to keep layering on the evasion. 3 hits, 130 out of the ninja. 5 hits, 142 to the knight. Yeah, we need more evasion. Strata Excal out. 9 hits, 133. Doing okay. 5 hits, 228. Here comes Flash. Boy, that happened. White shirt goes off. Let's try some more Excal damage. 4 hits, 110. Rubicon's still there. Getting a lot of mileage out of this 300%. Let's try Katana Strike. Single hit, 68. This is where Lock would come into play if we had it. Excal Swing, 8 hits, 242. Down goes Rubicon's. Papa Duke's up to 21 shards, which I believe is the on-stream lead.
So, yeah, Tarnan saying that it looked like Luffy was similar, so maybe they're at like 1 or 2 less than Papa.
Um, comment in chat. Luffy's got a ton of shards. Didn't get a count, but it looked like 4 and change bars, so at least 18. Or wait, at least 4? 24? I just missed the menu because I looked at chat. No. I'll catch him again in 20 minutes.
So now Young Mi's got their slab translated. Moonrisen picked up their slab at the Crescent Lake map location. I'm
So
kind of guessing Not Young's going to go back to. It looks like they might be heading back to Melman to that
I
translated.
just caught a look at Luffy's menu. He is at 22.
Cool.
And we got Crescent Lake. What's a Crescent Lake? A slab. Old men having carved a message in stone for one of their own kind that you need to find out in the wild. Meanwhile, we've got Elfland Castle. Do we have an herb? Nope. And away we go. That's one of the in entrance floor shuffle, sometimes you get so bogged down in exploration that when you finally find something, it's like the momentary aha, I have found a thing. Next step, can I do anything with this thing?
Yeah. I'm obviously just speculating here, but given the big pause here and the kind of wrong location, it looked like Not Young Me maybe was trying to go back to Lefane with the slab, but misremembered where it was.
Mm-hmm.
Which can happen even if you're taking notes, I can say from experience. Like, oh, wait, no, I missed this important note.
I have been trying multiple practices with not taking any notes, and I feel like on race day I am going to take notes. Oh, secret strats in chat. If you want to read your notes, you just take fights. Yep, that's where it's at.
I think that's correct, Pickles. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that is still out there. Like, one way or another, it seems like Slab does have to lead to Canoe. Like, it could be, herb into adamant into Canoe or whatever, but...
Right. Danny pointing out we have access to both Melmond and Lefane in Cardia and Crescent. And I don't recall seeing anything else we can really do. We're 54 minutes in, and we have found a shocking lack of key items, I think. And it's not for lack of trying. Like, our runners are doing great. It's just the seed is being stingy today.
Yep. So, Luffy Not Young Me need to head back to the Crescent Lake overworld location to get that translated, or turned in at Lefane, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Not Young Me staring at the Hooray Dwarf with sadness as they enter the wrong location again. Yeah, like there's a couple options. It can lead to Chime, it can lead to Rod to go through the Rod Lock, like it can lead to Oxyale, Crystal. Key is also an option. Like there's a crown. Yeah, all of those are possibilities. Ruby as well for that. Yeah, like it in fact leads to the Crystal, looks like. So off to Matoya's game.
We got a ton of doors and no keys.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be at Elfland Castle that Luffy needs to head back to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's possible. Like I don't remember. It sounds like that young me may not have even been to Crescent Lake yet, so they may just be forgetting that that's available without the canoe.
Mm-hmm.
And Papa now has Lefane but no slab, so they get their spells, but are gonna have to come back.
Yeah, Lefane with no slab is still a win.
Luffy picking up the orange, or the ruby, from Matoya. So now we get to go to Titan's Tunnel there.
Mm, which I don't think we've found both
It's,
ends of.
yeah, we've only found one end at Matoya's location.
Yeah, so there's every opportunity it could be a wormhole, but it is incentivized, so there will at least be something in that.
Yeah, so it's always got that. I'm going to say it just worthlessly goes to Volcano, but it has
Ooh.
another key item that
No, I've had a
leads
high
to Canoe.
success rate getting Titans West out of it, like the Titans West Sarda combo.
That is definitely still on the table, yeah.
Mhm.
That's it's been one of those things for me. It's like either a legitimate wormhole or it's Volcano, like every time it feels
Yeah.
like.
And there's our crown. We know what to do with that.
Yup. So the breadcrumb trail continues ever onward.
Comment in chat, this flag set is prone to world tours, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think that on its own is a good selling point for the flag set. There's very rarely like a navigatable line you can take to just win. There's almost always some kind of puzzle to solve. Oh, and it's Ice Cave.
It's
All right.
Ice Cave for no value instead of Volcano. My mistake.
I mean, you're closer than I was. So our progression is at Astos, which was an early split. It was TOF? I feel like it was, yeah, it was TOF, one of the splits from there.
Yep.
See, I need to be able to remember things like this in my race.
Oh, you did it from
So
memory? No, I just looked at our tracker's glorious notes. That's
I'm trying to practice here. Don't tell nobody.
All right. So yeah, Luffy coming right up on Astos now. We'll see what that crown turns into. It is the canoe
Oh,
finally.
so with that canoe, we've got Ice Cave. Well, Ice Cave is on the table
But
in that it's a location we can now reach, but we know what it is, and Luffy knows what it is because
yeah,
he's so far the only person with Ruby. So we've got Volcano on the table, and we've got Onrak, or sorry, not Onrak,
waterfall,
Waterfall
as well as
on the table,
ordeals. Yep.
as well as Ordeals. Those are three very spread out locations. Because like ordinarily, I feel like the answer is, oh, you just follow density, go do volcano and ice. But we know that ice is garbage. So now
Yeah.
what? Shortest path first, I guess. Which from inner sea is still volcano.
But then that's the longest to get to a second location. Like if you want to go to two locations, the quickest it's going to be ordeals and waterfall.
Mhm.
I'm kind of a big fan of leaving Volcano and Ice to as late as possible, so I would
Mhm.
head out to probably Ordeals first and then Waterfall, but like certainly
I
that has bitten me before, so
I respect the strategy behind that, but if there's no other good checks, I'll just bite the bullet and do it.
mhm.
So Ordeals
Ooh,
is a castle, and we
that
got two
is
people in it. Ooh, Chime and a Mazza +5.
okay. Yeah, so Mazda +5 is oh wait, it's +3, right?
Was it a 3? It looked like a 5.
It's a little
Luffy,
blurry,
please.
but
All right. Mazza Plus prime number is in the hands of our ninja, and we're from here
so now you can
three routes in opposite
I
directions.
think I just do Mirage now,
Yeah,
but like
we're right here. Might as well try Mirage.
So what are your thoughts on like how many okay fights you should take along the way, Fizzle? I've seen like in our first race yesterday, the top two players, one of them took almost every reasonable fight, the other one skipped all but like the best fights, and they were within like a minute of each other. So
So there's a lot of factors that go into that question. The primary one, I think, is, do I have a one melee party or a two melee party? If I have a two melee party, I'm gonna want to take a lot of fights along the way because it's just too much of a pain. Oh, hey, there's a floater. It's just too much of a pain to try and do that with some kind of grind tile. If I have single melee and I find a good grind tile somewhere, I'll just set camp, get to some ridiculous level, and then drag the rest of my underleveled party with me through the rest of the game.
makes sense. But yeah, so the chime play does pay off, and Luffy picks up the floater there.
So, not young me at the superstore. Luffy at 24? That looked like 24 shards. This seems pretty good.
So they are only required to get 2 more shards from boxes in that case.
Mm-hmm. That's actually an interesting question. When you are down to let's say we're in this situation. You have Kraken left, you have Carry left, and you need 6 shards. Do you still take shard box fights?
Yeah, that's definitely a tough one. Like, the bosses are usually fairly quick to take down if you're, like, just circling back to them late game. So, like, especially the Kraken slot with 4 shards, I'm gonna just be banking on those 4 shards. But
Mm-hmm.
the only 2 shards from carry, especially if we haven't found the location yet, which I believe is the case here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna look to see if I can find 2 shards to just skip carry entirely. Like maybe I
Mm-hmm.
need to find the rod later, and they're behind the rod lock, and like if I
Mm-hmm.
bank on them when I don't know where they are, it could be a long ways out.
I'm kind of with you on this. It's like, if I have 2 shards left and there's a carry out in the wild somewhere, I'm probably just going to look for boxes because it's not going to take me that long to find 2 shard boxes. If I'm down 4 and need a Kraken or a Tiamat, if I have all the keys, then I'll probably dig for the Fiend. If I'm missing one or more, like, key, like if I'm down Oxial and Cube and I need to find a Fiend, I might just stick with boxes.
Sounds pretty reasonable, yeah. And then of course you have those freak occasions where it's like, okay, well here's just 4 shards together, so maybe I'll just take them, but
Yes,
pretty rare.
sometimes you go to greater than less than, and there's 7 shards in there for no reason.
So Luffy picks up the rod from Volcano as they are in the air and doing these quick air checks here. Not even looking for shards in that Volcano set there. And speaking of, there's Carry. I guess Carry does have the incentive item on the same floor, so you'll often
Right.
want to find it anyway. Although it could just
Mhm.
be like a ribbon that you don't need by that point or something.
Yeah, it's been pretty frequent for me to hit shard cap before I have both my loot and key. Not always, but it's been frequent.
Yeah, I'd say for me, it's about like even maybe like or like I have like 1 or 2 shards I need to still pick
Hmm.
up at in game.
Let's see, we've got one of our one of our tiles is our giant agamas. Is that our first tile or our second tile? That was our
Second
second tile.
ruse stick.
So we got a ruse stick. We also have a defense sword, so it'll be interesting to see just how heavy into evasion strats our double melee team is gonna be.
Yeah, we've got the white shirt as well, so we got a handful of options
Mhm.
there.
Although it's also worth saying that, rather than having to take turns holding the don't die item, you could just have both of them and not worry about where it is.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, with the randomized treasure, you can definitely end up with like 2 or 3 ruse items and be like, all right, well, my red mage, my thief, and my fighter are all gonna ruse up in this fight. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's just be dodgy.
Yeah, technically, a full party with defense items is, I think, the second fastest way of hitting evasion cap with everyone. Fastest way is to have like everyone with a white shirt,
Mhm.
but failing that, like 4 people with ruse items, that's still evasion cap in 3 turns.
Yep, yep. And of course, there
And
is still a dance you could do there. You don't necessarily need to be capped. If you're close, it can often be good enough, especially on a high health fighter or something.
mhm. So we've got Gilgamesh, and Dark Moon in chat was kind enough to post the Fiend 2 skill list for us. Um, slow 2 slow 2s is kind of, it can be spooky depending on how many sources of fast we have.
Mhm.
Um, the wall is for decoration, like they're going to be resisting everything anyway. The real danger in that list is Exfer. Topher Fiends have never traditionally had Exfer, and it can be devastating if they remove protection from the wrong character.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something we saw in yesterday's race as well. Chaos
Mhm.
could like I ran the same seeds like I wasn't in the race, but I ran it afterwards, and Chaos cast Exfer into Duke into Quad X. Yeah, I think I
Mhm.
mentioned that, but it was incredibly rude. Incredibly
Mhm.
rude.
Question chat. Where was Bahamut again? I want to say Marsh. I'm gonna look at our handy
Dwarf Cave?
dandy map.
Dwarf Cave, yeah.
That's what I said. Dwarf Cave.
It's on the left of the inner sea-ish.
Yeah, this is whatever. There's so many landing spots over there. It's fine.
An ordeals if he picks up their herb. We do know where to turn that in. That's at yeah, Luffy was there pretty recently. That was at the split at the top of Bahamut
Mhm.
Island. Moonrisen and Not Young Me progressing, well, and Papadux as well progressing on their trail to the airship here.
Yeah, the floater fetch quest is something to behold in this flag set. It's gnarly.
Wait, where's Not Young Me going?
uh,
I guess they're
checking
they're
volcano before heading for ordeals is the assumption. Well, there's a Sarda here. What
yeah,
does
that's
Sarda have
the
for us?
rod. Sarda has the rod to open the rod lock in Earth Cave in this
Oh
flag set, it turns
no!
out.
Oh
Luffy picking
no!
up the bottle.
That's the wrong direction. And Luffy finds Kraken, and last I checked, this is gonna put Luffy at shard cap. Um, no sighting of the loot and the key yet.
Yep. They're often very late. You
Mm-hmm.
kind of expect to see the key earlier a little more often, since it does unlock an incentive in Canaria Castle, but
Mm-hmm. No, I've had a good number of practice seeds where it's just like, all right, I have narrowed the key down to anywhere but Canary locked.
yep. Yep, we still haven't found the Oxiel yet either. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's like getting more and more likely the looter keys behind the Oxiel lock,
Mm-hmm.
which
And
was
we've
very
got
deep.
our last fiend. The Kraken fiend is Odin. Uh, Odin, I think, had
Against
something
lightning.
spooky on it. Oh, do I hear 5 nukes in the pool? And we got to stop. That's spooky if we don't have full ribbon coverage, although I think one of the blessings was anti-time, so that's good. More slow twos in the pool is annoying depending on the number of sources of fast, and the crack is a bit of an uh-oh.
Yep, yep. I mean, four slow twos, if you've only got one melee, that
Mhm,
can get pretty rough for sure. And you're right that the fighter does have built-in time resistance. So even if the fighter doesn't have a ribbon, they
mhm.
are protected against that one. Let's stop there.
Yeah, we have all the makings of a Topher Fiend that is just slow to nuke, slow to nuke, slow to nuke.
And I mean, the X for Quad X combo is possible too. We got
Mhm.
both of those in there. Oh, I missed what Not Young Me. It looks like Not Young Me found sadness behind the rod lock, considering they're walking out with no new key items picked up.
Look, so the answer was nothing. I am wondering if it was like a Cardia dead end or
Yeah,
something. I know we've seen one.
just a
Okay, yeah.
straight dead end. That stings. I was hoping Not Young Me would find something that they at least needed, like maybe the loot or
hmm
something, so that like the fact they're kind of taking the wrong route
hmm
didn't hurt them too much here. But
Question in chat. Wait, FTP, three resistances. Have I been reading this wrong the whole time? I can only say yes. So when resistance is up, whatever letters it states are the first letter of the school, because as it turns out, they all start with different letters. Or it just says all, and it's an auto ribbon. But in
notably,
this case,
a P is
um,
for both poison and stone. S is for status. I just wanted to
right.
clarify that.
Yep. So yeah, they get resistance to fire, time, and poison. The some I think some good resistances to have, especially with what you frequently encounter out of all themes. Um, Fire is surprisingly strong. Time's always good. Um, Time, poison, earth, and death. Like if you can cover all the insta kill elements, you're in good shape.
Yep, there's one of the kind of fixed sets. Like a lot of them are just random three status effects. One of them's a
hmm
fixed set of all, and one of them's a fixed set of all the insta kill
hmm
effects. And
Oh, I didn't
Luffy,
know there were fixed sets in the pool. I thought it just threw darts at a wall.
nope. There's the one fixed set, and that's considered like a strong bonus, so it's less common,
hmm
along with the
Gotcha.
all one there. And Luffy picked up a ribbon. I already forgot where, but they picked up an incentive ribbon.
And we've got Gaia. This I think is my first sighting of Gaia. It's at Waterfall.
Waterfall, yeah, that would make sense that we haven't been back to Waterfall yet. Yep, but they don't have the bottle that Luffy does.
No, we gotta go to gotta ordeals.
Yep, Moonrise and Not Young Me picked up their time from Ordeals in the meantime, so they will be in the air within a couple minutes here.
Mm-hmm. Question chat, is Deep Topher on? It is. We have located it. It's at Cardia Double Bottom. I don't think it was that deep. I think it was like second floor down.
Yeah, most of like the deep topher kind of makes it an option to be deep, but most of the time it isn't
Right.
too deep.
And we've got our Oxiel, so I think that is the last key blocking, not key blocking, dory thingy that we can find out of key item locations. And now we just got to go see what's behind it.
I got that from the adamant. I don't remember if we've seen the herb turn in, but Oxiel, like I think, almost has to lead to cure loot at this point.
Someone turned in herb. Well, Luffy's the only one with the herb. I think he turned it in. Let's go to our handy dandy tracking note sheet thingy, and we have not turned it in.
Saber
And we
Gauntlet
just
from
turned
the
it in.
herb.
It's Saber Bomb.
All right. So does that mean Oxiel has to lead to key, or we forget? We're probably forgetting something else. Like, let's be honest. Like,
So the chain of events here, I think, is Oxio leads to something that has key that then Cardiolocked is going to be our loot. Because we've got the incentive Maza, we got the incentive Ribbon, we got the incentive Bonk, and Luffy's key item thing is lit up like a Christmas tree. So
Mhm.
either we've all missed something, or this is the end of the
Yeah, no, I
trail.
think that's all that's left because I think we've seen Saber, Roostick, Ribbon, and Masa. We've seen all of those.
I have bad news for you. We've all missed something because this is Marsh Top and there's no key items here.
Well, did we? Oh, did we actually see? Oh, we haven't actually seen what the bottle turns into because
That
we saw Gaia, but they didn't have the bottle.
right. So we gotta go find Gaia.
So bottle has the key,
Bottle the key to loot. Yep.
assumedly. Is there anything else? It's so easy. I think that's everything that's left. I think that's
Yeah.
everything that's left. With some flag sets, you could pretty confidently be like, okay, this is definitely the case, but like it's so hard to keep track of with the mixed up locations and everything.
So we found Ruse Stick, we found Bonk, we found Maza, we found Ribbon. So yes, we found all the incentive items. So it's got to be Bottle the key to loot.
Yeah, so Luffy just needs to go to Waterfall.
To Waterfall. Yep.
Moonrisen and Not Young Lee holding hands, picking up the Ruse Stick on the carry floor. Papa Duke's finally picking up their floater now. Luffy about level 29 with their party, looks like.
Mm-hmm. With
like...
with this many nukes on the table, I would rather be above 30.
Yeah. It's always that's a tough choice too. Like, do you try to go in as early as possible, especially since like it already is feeling kind of late. Like we're
Yeah.
gonna be entering Tofurata after an hour 20. It's like
Mhm.
other people gotta be like finishing up right about now. So like I gotta
Yeah.
go, but like then if you go in and just get wiped 2 or 3 times, you would have been better off spending some time to level up.
I don't recall seeing any good tiles anywhere, but I have had difficulty keeping track. And I can't help but wonder if oh no, wait, we're doing the Bottle Quest 20 as well. We found out where Waterfall is. So once we get through all that, it's do we just roll the dice at 29 and hope for the best and believe in the healing power of our white mage, or have we remembered where a grind tile was and we're just going to party level just a few more levels just to make this safe?
I think we did see the Red Giant plus 2 or 3 Agamas tile, but I do not know how accessible it was.
That was on carry floor, which I believe was top level. That's
It's not
fine, but
like amazing. It's certainly
I
no
would aim
like,
for higher.
yeah.
Oh, Darkmoon says there was a red D tile somewhere. That'll do the job.
Or maybe they're saying it was on the red D tile.
Oh,
But I think I would just go for it. Like 29 is still pretty high. If I'm remembering that there's this many nukes in the pool, then I might be more hesitant. But like that's a really hard thing to be remembering in the middle of the race. So I'm kind of guessing that's not at the top of mind for most of these racers.
oh, Gershark Big Eye was also in the ice loop. If we have exit, that's not bad.
That was Provoca. Yeah, that wasn't too deep in Provoca. It was a little deep, I think. I don't remember for sure.
And chat brings up a good point. We, due to the power of the internet, the power of chat, we know that there are 5 nukes in this pool. How likely is it that our runners are aware of this fact?
Yeah, like we've had multiple people to be like, okay, we got announcers, we got Darkmoon in chat, we've got trackers,
Yeah.
and a bunch of people that could be like, oh, by the way, like this is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be the surprise birthday party that nobody wants. This is going to be walking through the door, everything's on fire, the
So
cake's ruined.
Luffy has opted to head on in. Not checking the bonus chests, which there's probably no reason to do, so that makes sense.
Let's begin. We're up against Gen 2, based on the Mighty Lich 2. We're taking it seriously. We're going in with lock strats. Mazza goes out. 8 at 328. Fast goes off after the nick of time. Fire 3. Not sure if we wanted or didn't want to see that. Let's try a second round. We're still going with evasion strats. We really don't want to be slapped for 20 damage. Stun doesn't work. Lock 2 goes off. Moss swing. 12 at 775. Oh, solve that problem.
Looks like no ribbon on the red mage. Oh, as high as level 33. The levels are a little disparate. Oh, they left the red mage dead for a while intentionally. That's why. The red mage is a little lower level. So 33 on the ninja.
Red mage battery. Here comes Gilgamesh 2, aka Carry 2. Opening with a fast. That is... we're going to hope that we just see more spells and not any melee, because 300% Carry 2 melee is rough.
Yeah, seeing spells, like seeing a fast is always interesting, because it means they're casting spells, which often means they're casting more spells, but when they decide not to...
Like,
oh no.
I'm happy to see fast on Lich and Tia 2. I am not happy to see fast on Carry 2 and Kraken 2. Mm-hmm. Chaos, it's a toss-up. Like, if they started with one hit, like, sure, fast all day long, you go for it, buddy. If they rolled up into 3 hits, that's uh-oh time.
Right, yep.
4 hits, 188 after lots of evasion. 11 hits, 1,043 damage.
So the easy 2 are done. Let's see how the more threatening fiends will fare.
We got ourselves an Odin 2. Gonna keep up the same basic strategy. Single white mage with a single white shirt. We're going with some fast strats. Gonna go with some bonk and some lock 2. Incoming, 4 hits, 444 damage, taking that ninja to under 50 health. Do we have any healing magic? I saw Cure 4. Oop, there, oop, there it is.
Yeah, Cure 4 and that lock and fade here.
Get the turn order.
Just
counters with a nuke. Oh, lock goes off. Melee. 11 hits, 586. That was a round of bad news. What do we got left? We're gonna keep leaning on the lock strats. That was a heal something, maybe some temper. Heal 3. That's the one we want. Outgoing melee. We've got 9 hits, 798. Here comes Blaze. Not much damage across the board. Good news. Lock 2 goes off. I would start metering out those lock 2s. I don't know how many more we got. 4 hits, 148. Fast. No, we already saw that. Fire 3 goes out. 44. My mage melee. 3 hits, 23. Did it. 12 hits, 1255. Did.
That thief was really mashing them in hard.
Mm-hmm. Gonna do some party jiggling, and we're gonna take on a Rubicant, aka Tia 2. We're gonna use one of our 2 tempers. Rubicant opens with Cure 4. Canonical, I note. Temper goes off, fast goes off, white 2 goes off. Now that everyone has finished buffing, we're going to continue buffing. Lock 2 goes off. White 2, or white shirt. Why does it say 2? Oh, right. Sometimes the alt fiends have some unintended consequences, but I mean, what's a little text glitch when we have a Rubicant on the screen, right?
Yep.
We're going to continue buffing this ninja into low Earth orbit. Test swing, 10 hits, 620. Not bad, could be better. Rubicant, meanwhile, content to not do terribly much. More incoming fire 3. 12 hits, 611.
They could have as much as 3,300 health on this flag set.
10 hits, 385. We are on to chaos.
Papa's picked up their key, so they're on the trail now.
And here we go. I note the Black Mage is down to a single temper. Red Mage is down to a single temper, but we're going with fast temper bonk. And white shirt strats. Incoming melee, 3 hits, 451. This is a chaos that we do not want to see cast fast. Fast goes off on the ninja. Final temper going out. Some more lock 2. We're going to go with defense strats. We're a little afraid of that melee considering it just detonated our Black Mage. Lock 2 goes off, white shirt goes off.
Importantly, got in at least one lock before the red mage is dead, so...
We're out of tempers. We're out of locks. Are we going with cheeky zap strats? I think we are. Heal 3 going off. Incoming melee. Single hit. Zap strats. No. But we're going to keep trying because that red mage appears to not have anything better to do. We're going to continue sabering. Quad X goes off. Zap? No. Exfer? No. Worth noting that even if that Exfer lands, it's not going to increase the chance of that zap hitting. And I did not see if we have a Brack waiting in the wings anywhere because it would affect that. Or at least it would if our white mage wasn't just detonated. Mazza swing. 3 hits, 583. Uh-oh. Flash goes off. Here comes a nuke. Solo character left, down to 200 and change health. Incoming melee misses. It's Hold Aid and Pray time. 4 hits, 623. Chaos still there. Slow. Nope. Swing. 993. Fire 2 takes us to 260 something. 4 hits, 768. Nuke. Oh.
There's what we were afraid of. They did about 3,000 damage to Chaos. Chaos can have as much as 6,000. Usually has about 3,500 to 4,000 in this fight.
So let's see what corrections we go with for this next dive. We start with Jin. We're going to keep mashing on the lock strats and the evasion strats.
It seemed like our earlier fiends rolled like at least reasonably soft on HP, so they weren't too hard to take down, or at least soft on absorb. So like we were doing 1,000 damage hits and stuff.
Yeah, they seem soft on absorb. I think is right. We can probably 2-round a lot of these fiends, but based on the outgoing melee, it feels like we're gonna want to have a reserve of locks by the time we get to Chaos, and that's not a fight like that. That fight has a time limit on it.
Yes.
The nukes aren't back to back due to one of our flags that say no consecutive nukes, but there can be a single spell between them. So
absolutely.
Sneaking in on our other runners real quick, it looks like Papa Dukes is on the trail of the loot potentially. I see the key. Don't have Oxiel. Maybe thinking of looking for other things.
Yeah, they just picked up the adamant, so they're going to go turn that in right now.
Not Young Me on the trail of what I believe is the adamant, which was in Marsh Bottom. Oh, did I say... Oh, sorry. Update from our tracking team. Not Young Me does in fact have the key. So, also on the trail of the loot.
That was a damage hit from Luffy onto Odin there with the dead Black Mage. As long as the life casters stay alive, we can recover that, which we probably will.
The Not Young Me is at 30 of 32 shards. Papa Dukes.
I think they were capped, but I'm not certain. Oh, well, that wouldn't necessarily make sense. I probably miss off if they haven't killed a Kraken equivalent yet.
Could possibly have found a lot of boxes while we weren't looking. Moonrisen taking on Kraken 1, aka Odin 1. and confirm Papa Dukes is shard capped, so just looking for the loot at this point. Meanwhile, Moonrisen having a heck of a time with this Odin 1 fight.
Oh yeah, both of the melee are down on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Several locks still going out on Rubicon from Luffy. We'll see if they decide to save a couple more locks this time around.
So Luffy back to the Chaos fight.
They are very slowly gaining experience with the save on quit each attempt.
It's true, this is a very slow grind, but it's a grind nonetheless. As we pull Chaos. What do we got? We're going with Lock 2, Bonk, White Shirt. So the locks make sense here. There was a lot of evasion on that Chaos, and we need to shave that off.
Mm-hmm.
3-hit melee is spooky, as is evidenced by that crater where the Black Mage used to be. So the evasion's nice, but I can't help but wonder if the single White Shirt is a little too slow for our purposes on this. More Lock 2 strats. We're shifting over to melee.
Did we get a fast cast off yet?
I believe we did, and that was a single hit for 6 damage. Y'all got any more of that fast? Another temper, some more bonk, or maybe some lock strats? Ninja going with lock strats. Because the ninja can't connect yet, lock strats with the ninja, perfectly acceptable for a turn, but we're gonna have to switch over to damage soon because we're trying to outrun 2 nukes.
Yeah, if the White Mage doesn't get punched down, that gives us a lot more ability to do so.
Mm-hmm.
They can at least drop one of those Cure 4s. Apparently, Chaos also has Tornado.
Tornado is a
mini
pretty gnarly skill. You can think of it as a mini nuke. Yeah, it's non-elemental, and the damage range is lower than nuke, but it's still something you really don't want to see. Outgoing melee, 5 hits, 1108. Nuke takes a ninja down to under 100 health. Do we get the Cure 4 off? We get the damage off. Here comes Slow. Misses the ninja. A free turn out of Chaos. Nice and helpful. Are we going to get any more healing off? We might. The White Mage survived. 4 hits, 557. Chaos still there. That Red Mage rusing for all it's worth. And we get the Cure 4 off on the Red Mage. 3 hits, 510. Chaos still there.
2,800 damage done now.
Fire 2 ain't doing much. Incoming melee, super crit to that ninja. And I don't know if nuke is the next spell up. Do we get there? 300 damage. Chaos is still there. Cure 4. Pretty please. We get the turn order. 4 hits, 581. Down
terminated.
Goes Chaos. Luffy finishes first place on stream. 3rd place overall with official race time GG time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 13 seconds.
Very nice. As we mentioned, this is a hard flag set with the first runner on stream is hour 34 here.
So to catch us up, first place overall, we have Gouda at 1 hour, 17 minutes and 2 seconds. He's got bucket 1 all to himself. 2nd place, we have 77577. In 2nd place, 1 hour, 21 minutes, 59 seconds. He's got bucket 2 all to himself. And joined with us in the booth, 1st place on stream, 1st place in the number 3 bucket, Luffy. How's it going, man?
Hey, GG's, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, nicely done.
So how was your full clear?
It was perfect. It was chef's kiss. I loved it. I said to my group earlier today that my decision was to use these key items to like track down other items, and I'm just going to keep following the trail of the items. And then the Oxyel led to nothing, and then the rod led to nothing, and then I got real upset because, again, the single location I left behind was Waterfall, and it was Guy on the surface, which was real disappointing. But, you know, that happens. You got to make a choice. You got to make a decision, and I will live with that.
The game wanted you to follow the items. You just followed the wrong items, so that's on
Uh-huh.
you.
Yeah, it truly is. And like when I was there at Crescent Lake, and I think I got the floater maybe at Crescent or something, but something turned me off of going to Waterfall, or maybe I didn't have the canoe yet at the time. I don't remember, but I didn't go there specifically. Like I'm just going to leave this, and again, that was not the right decision.
Yeah, because you went to Ordeals and got the chime, so you went to Mirage and got the
Yeah.
floater.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to go back to Waterfall yet.
Yeah, but hey, it happens. These flags are fun. Full clear at an hour and a half and dying on chaos. Like it's not the best in the world, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I believe you were our first runner on stream to be in the air, and by a not insignificant chunk. But let's rewind to just slightly before that. You get handed a canoe. You're in the inner sea.
Mm-hmm.
And basically your options are volcano, ordeals, waterfall. What's your thought process?
My thought process is, I hear Dead Pulse, ordeals every time, and even though this is floor and entrance shuffle, I just chose ordeals, and it was Canaria, which made me happy, and then after getting the key from the ferry, it made me sad that I had to go back there. At this time from the airship parking lot, which is much farther away than the canoe parking lot. But, and I also figured that if I go here and it's nothing, Waterfall is decent proximity. It's 2 locations to 1 with Volcano. So I was kind of banking on that. But, and it still led me away from where I needed to be.
And I guess the other question I have for you is walk me through party choice, because we actually had kind of a decent spread of party selections for this race.
So my initial thought was to go really spicy and go Thief double red white, because the red got automatic access to temper, and the black mage had that awful malice of -4 magic points. So I thought to myself, let me use double red and have the guaranteed temper, and if it rolls in the first 4 levels, I'll be golden. I'll get 12 to 14 charges between them. And then it took us a while to get off the ground here, and as I sat there and thought about it, I said, what if this rolls like level 8 and I only have 2 charges on the red mage the whole time? And I think it rolled level 5 or level 6, like unread learnable, which it was the right choice to switch to that black mage, even though they only had a little bit of charges. And the fighter, I didn't love what they had. The white mage, as useless as they can be, had access to legendary weapons this time, and they could have given me exit, which I definitely wanted. It just seemed like it was a party that could work, and I'm not scared of the thief carry, even though 2 nukes by Chaos said not this first time.
So I feel like we should get you up to speed, because Chad has been busy doing math. And we looked up the alternate fiends that y'all had on display today. Would you care to guess how many nukes are in the pool?
I believe is it 4?
5.
Ah, okay. Right. I knew I was trying to study the alt fiend list a little bit while I was waiting for the race to kick off, and I knew there was at the very least 3. And then once I saw the 2 on Chaos, I'm like, oh, I miscounted. There's definitely 4 in there at least. So hearing 5 does not shock me.
So not young me, currently in Topher on the Rubicon 2 fight. Papa Duke's, I believe, just behind on the Odin 2 fight.
Yep.
Moonrisen took an early exploration lead, I would say, in that they lunged for Dwarf Cave and Northwest Castle and Elfland out of the gate, only to be sad when they had to double back. There was a part early on where Moonrisen was the only person on stream with the boat, and there were like 2 people with canals.
Yeah, the awkward part that they hit there was that they died after getting the boat, so they warped all the way back to Canaria, so they ended up having to walk all the way back down to the boat later.
Oh no. Yeah.
Papa Dukes has caught up and is on the Rubicon 2 fight. a straight nasty nuke came out that did some damage to the party, and the Cure 3 is probably not helping things with our not spectacular damage that I recall seeing. That's probably why we're going with the Saber Gauntlet strat. Slow 2 dings the Red Mage. At least I'm pretty sure it was the Red Mage. And let's try Mazza Swing. 10 at 703, so Not Young Me is on to Chaos.
With life left on the Red Mage, okay. They have a full party. Seems like Papa's party's a little higher level, so they might have a chance to catch up or be a little bit safer when they get there.
Mhm.
I did have a slight regret when I found that dragon +5 or +6 armor when I didn't have the fighter that they were never going to get to wear. So I felt it was right to throw it on the ground at some point to pick up that fourth ribbon or that third ribbon.
Yo.
So Not Young Me taking on Chaos. Twinge, take it away.
Yeah, so like I said, they're not that much higher or lower level. They've got 700 HP on their fighter as well. They went ahead and moved the fighter to the back row. White Mage throwing out Invis after CCCC is already dead. Fighter, of course, sabering up. Is that 2 White Mage or Invis 2 casts? But
I think that was
yeah,
the second one.
yeah. And then continuing to saber up, so just getting all our buffs in to be as safe as possible. That big HP pool on the fighter is going to make them a lot more survivable against those nukes. So we'll see if they manage to survive. Like Luffy had trouble there with the low HP on the ninja. So decent odds, I think, that they can pull this out, but we'll see how it goes. We know that they've got a lot of nukes, and they've also got about 3,500 health. So first nuke hits pretty high on the fighter, but we do get the Cure 4 off before the White Mage is dead. So they are back at about 700 on our fighter there. And we're throwing out the swing, and it's a miss. Oh, did we get any locks off before the Black
I
Magic
don't recall
casters
seeing
died?
any locks making it out.
I may be retracting what I just said about being fairly confident they could get through this. So we'll see on that. Chaos slaps down the poor White Mage. Papa also on the Chaos fight now and getting their buffs rolling here as well. So we'll see how this goes between them. One hit for about 330, I think it was. This is troubling on Not Young Me's part. Like as we mentioned earlier, Lock is really powerful, pretty important on this flag set. Given what we're seeing here, it's fairly likely Chaos max rolled evasion or pretty close. So there may only be about a 12% chance per hit that the fighter is actually hitting Chaos there. So if they've got 5 hits, they've only got like 12% chances. So not great odds of landing much damage there, but they're working on it. They're working on it. And meanwhile, on Papa's side, they still have everyone alive. They've got multiple people swinging here. Even the Red Mage is getting some swings out. I didn't see if Papa got any lock spells off. And Not Young Me's on drink strats a little bit, so trying to keep their health up a little bit. Oh, they have a heal 3 spell as well there, so they did learn that as a knight to get a little more HP up, but we'll see if that's enough to get them through, because they're not doing a lot of damage here. And while Fire 2 is not much damage coming from Chaos, that means it's, sooner until they get back to another nuke, like that one right there. So that continues to be troubling, for sure. Papa's lost one of their party members and is looking to cure up their ninja to keep them alive. Gets that off in time. Oh, pulls it off, though, with a big, beefy crit. Now Young Me doing 1,000 damage to finish off Chaos. That was scary without those locks, but they pulled it off. Nice work in YM. So Papa, we'll see if they follow right behind. They are not getting a lot of hits in, so I don't know if they got many locks off or any either. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of the same stuff. Those low, like 200 damage hits or whatever, because they aren't getting very many hits in. And we get some misses. Oh, but they did queue up enough damage as well, so they get the win as well. And both finished with... Not Young Me finished with a 145.36, and Papa with a 146.14. So they'll land in the same bucket there. And GG's to both of them.
Hey guys, GG's.
Hey, GG, Not Young Me. How's it going?
I mean, it's going fine. I should have learned from co-op that notes are important.
Yeah.
Oh, I can remember this split and all that. No, I think I lost like 15 minutes there. Yeah, that was frustrating.
Yeah, it was palpable, I would say. We could definitely see when you went to a wrong location, then like freeze for a few seconds on the screen. It's like, where did I forget to go?
Oh yeah, it wasn't where I forgot to go. It was where I should go. I mean, like I you know what I mean? Like I remember being at the spot. I just couldn't remember where it was. So I went to like 5 or 6 locations to check it. And then finally I was like, all right, it has to be this one. And literally it was the last one.
Yep.
So, I guess we covered how did you enjoy your full clear simulator. So I'll go to my next question that I've been asking. You get the canoe, and basically your options on the table are you can go to volcano, you can go to ordeals, you can go to waterfall. What was your thought process for that?
Well, that was a mess. I can't even remember, but I think what I did is I ignored dead pulses. Normal intuition to go to ordeals. And I think I went to volcano, which turned out to be the rod, which turned out to be nothing. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm an idiot. And so then, of course, then I go to ordeals and there's, everything that I need, really. There's the masa and there's another item, maybe adamant or something.
The chime, yep.
The chime. And then, of course, the chime, I think, led to the floater. So, yeah, I mean, My thought process should have been to go to ordeals, like Dead Pulse has taught me, but I defied it and it bit me in the butt.
Mm-hmm. And
if there was something good behind that rod lock, like if that's where the floater was, you would have looked so smart. That would have been great.
I know. I don't know. Obviously I'm so far behind. I didn't run a practice seed, which was dumb. I watched Dead Pulse twice over the last couple of days doing some just fun races. But I forgot the main thing is just the note taking on this. So if anyone's watching racing, it's like you really have to. You cannot assume you're going to remember anything.
So, and I guess the other question I have is, let's rewind back to the start. You are one of the 2 people on stream that took Fighter Thief Red White. Walk me through that.
Yeah, I didn't take the Black Mage because it was low on MP, and I knew I could get Temper with the Red Mage, and I was worried about getting locked out of Warp or Exit, so I decided to take the White Mage in case I could get Exit early on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Moonrisen has elected to leave Topher for a minute, likely in search of somewhere to grind.
Yeah, they were down to just the thief left alive against Odin, so opted to go for the reset. So we'll see what they do from here.
Yeah, and I was listening before I jumped on. My Red Mage did not get a lock or a fast off, so that was pretty brutal for Chaos.
Right, yeah. That's what it looked like for sure. Any other thoughts about this flag set in general?
No, I mean I really love the flag set, just in general for week 1. I think it's really fun. I love how they incorporated the other bosses into this game. I've never had a flag like that. I hated entrance shuffle when I was really new to this game, but now it's just like this new dynamic approach to the game. I'm glad it's not reverse floors. That's the worst.
Me too.
Yeah, that is not fun. But I think this is a great flag set and just really fun. I wish I would have remembered, that one entrance. Shaved 15 minutes off the time, but oh well.
And we're joined with our third place on stream finisher, Papa Dukes. GG, man, how's it going?
Not too bad. Not too happy with the way I played today.
So, how did you enjoy your full clear today?
How did you enjoy my wild goose case looking for Canaria?
Yeah.
I made notes about everything except for where Canaria was, and as soon as I found the key, that would have been my first stop. I looked down at my notes and I didn't write down where it was, and I was like, all right, well, still have plenty of places to check. It's more likely going to be one of those anyway. Then after full clearing everything, I had to figure out where Canaria was. That was fun.
I feel like that's been my experience too. Even with like all my note taking, like Canaria Castle seems to be the easiest one to forget, and it's the most important one not to forget.
I think it's because we've used the Canaria locked incentives so little recently.
Yeah.
As soon as I got the items from the king and princess, I was like, okay, I'm done with Canaria. I don't need to write it down. And then as soon as I found the key, it hit me.
Yeah.
So
what were your thoughts on party comp, Papa?
I liked the party. Gaia was early. Our weapons were good enough that the weak magic at level 1 and not finding any towns for a long time wasn't that much of an issue. Everybody was able to contribute, even the white mage with the legendary weapons. I actually liked that party a lot.
And I guess the question that I've been asking everyone, because I think it's really interesting, let's rewind back to when you got the canoe. And at that point, you basically have 3 options on the table. You got Volcano, you got Ordeals, and you got Waterfall. Walk me through that decision process.
I should have probably checked Ordeals and Waterfall first because it's 2 locations close to each other. But I figured Volcano would be a quicker check because I knew Ice was Titan's Cave West.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that would be a quick check, get in and out, and then work on the top of the map because I would have been completely done with the bottom of the map at that point, except for Sarda and the actual Titan West entrance.
Well, I got to rewatch this back. It sounds like we did the exact same thing. We missed some things on notes and went to Volcano first, and that was a dud. So
yeah,
it just feels bad.
Yeah. Well, anytime you get the canoe at an hour into the seed, it feels bad.
Yeah, I remember looking at my inventory list about 35 minutes in. I think I had the tail in something else. I'm like, this is not great.
Yeah.
This cannot be good.
At least it was an early Bahamut.
Yeah, even from our vantage point, like 40 minutes into the seed, we're like, okay, we found all these doors to turn keys into, but like nobody has found keys because that's just not what's been in anybody's path. And it turned out the answer was this nightmarish fetch chain to get you to Floater.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Moonrisen, I think, is settling on a nacho grind? Question mark.
Nacho grind's not too bad. It's a
Spicy.
nice, easy, accessible tile.
Mm-hmm. Something we didn't cover is that experience scaling. Normally it scales with key item, but in this particular flag set, it scales with shards. It goes up by 50% for every 8 shards you have. So right now it's at around 200% of base, so a lot of things can kind of function as a grind tile right now if you really need them to.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like they went up to about level 30, 31. And I'm trying to remember if this was Topher, if they're heading back now, or if they're still looking for other stuff. Like they had followed
for other stuff.
Yeah, they'd followed the trail for like the rod lock, so they after the fact found that rod lock was nothing and such.
This is Bahamut.
Oh, this is Bahamut, right?
Yes, it's Bahamut.
Yes. Yep. Oh, Not Young Me, did you forget that you had bought the tail early when you had found Bahamut, or?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I figured.
Yeah, and then I was like, then I couldn't remember how deep it was, and it was like 3 or 4 deep, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! I was right there. I think I just hard reset it out of that. I'm like, oh, there's
Right.
no way I have the tail, right? I was like, I only have one thing, and sure enough, it was the tail.
Yep, I understand that completely though, because like the tail seems like it comes late in this flag set so often. Like that's been my experience. So I easily could have forgotten that too.
Yeah. I really wish this flag set was going to be played in other weeks. It would be nice to have another attempt at this bad boy, but maybe I'll try practicing week 2 for a change.
I wish you the best of luck.
Oh no, I haven't even looked at it.
Oh, you
No,
have?
don't bother.
Oh my. Well, uh, how do we even describe this for people that have not been following? So week 2 is feedback week, and it is a flag set where feedback is accepted to make the flag set as good as it can be based on everyone's feedback. And
Oh wait, is that the 174 misread messages in Discord?
Yes.
part of it. That's
part of
it's
it.
like half and half.
So, week 2 is an experiment in community-based flag design. It is something that I am managing for the tournament, and what it essentially boils down to is tell me what you want in the flag set and I'll put it in.
So there's different folks with different ideas of what that should look like. Some of us are, trying to have some goal of trying to make a flag set that'll be fun to run for everybody and hopefully not take too long. Some people would rather it be a chaotic mess with all the nonsense tweaked to the maximum, and we're kind of seeing what that's going to end up resulting in.
Why don't we just play normal Final Fantasy? No randomizer. It's going to be a 16-hour race.
That has been
Slow boat.
proposed.
A slow boat. Everything. I mean,
Oh, no slow boat, please.
I will point out that as manager of this, I do have safeguards in place to try and prevent it from being like a 4-hour nightmare. Because like most of us have obligations and we can't sit around for 4 hours doing this stuff. So there are some minimum safety controls, but in general, just tell me what you want. It's going in the flag set.
we could help Will Bloodworth out and just do White Mage only.
So Moonrisen looked like they were on their way to greater than less than, but in general, Mirage 2 is not the worst place to take encounters, especially if you can get a lot of vampire fights. Vampires are weirdly good experience compared to basically everything else on this floor.
Yeah, probably because the vampire, like the one you fight at the beginning, is a boss, so they wanted it to be worth more XP and stuff. So when they're in these bigger packs, they end up being worth quite a bit.
So I saw we crossed 30. I think we actually crossed 32 on some characters, and it looks like we're headed north back towards Topher. Gonna give it another whirl. Deep Topher being pretty kind today. It's only the second floor down. Yes, there's a lava floor in the way, but that's nothing like 8 heal pots won't cure.
Yep. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. Like, I think the way, I haven't actually looked at the code, but I think the way deep is set up is that it kind of allows it to be deeper, but it doesn't, like, try to force it to be deeper.
Right.
So,
yeah,
a lot of times
wherever it
it'll
lands,
still be...
lands.
Yeah.
A good example is on some of mine, on a couple of mine, I actually have had it top level despite being labeled as deep. Most of the time it's 2 or 3 floors down, and last night it was 3 floors down and then a marsh split and then Topher.
Mhm.
So it's somewhere on that spectrum.
I believe on a different flag set, fortunately one with much easier bosses, I had it 16 floors deep, but
there was, if I recall correctly, a challenge seed back in the day. It was a curated seed, or possibly there was some dev magic involved that basically made Canaria Castle like it was deep dungeon before deep dungeon. There was some insane like 12 or something floors with both splits in there. There were like 3 fiends and Topher were all in there.
huh.
It was nuts.
Yeah, that would be hard to orchestrate, so...
Oh, apparently Odin 2 was holding out on us and had one of the nukes. And possibly early.
Yeah, we saw the blaze for sure.
So many nukes. Yep, it was the seed of 5 nukes in the pool.
Pretty close to as many as there can be. I think there can maybe be one more technically. But...
I think theoretical max is 6. Because you get the one from Chaos, and then some combination of 4 fiends, which would be 2 from Rubicon, and then 3 others that give 1. So that's 5, 6, 6.
Darkwind, Lord Fizzlebeep, I'm going to take off. Just want to say goodnight and thanks for doing comms. Didn't see who was tracking and restreaming, but thank you to them as well.
Thanks very much for the race. It was fantastic to watch.
Yeah, a lot of fun. But really appreciate it, guys. GG's to Luffy, Papados, and I'm sure Moon's going to be finishing up here shortly. So you guys have a great night.
GG's.
Absolutely.
All right, take care.
I think I am actually going to call it too. I got to get up to get on a plane tomorrow morning, but this was a lot of fun. Thank you, Fizzle and Twinge, for doing comms. I think Phoenix and Duck's Plume are tracking. Thank you both for that, and Speed Gaming for hosting us, and the runners for running. That was fun.
Yeah, GG. Have a good night, man.
Thanks, guys.
See you both. Farewell.
Take care. See ya.
Danny was kind of like a third tracker, so she deserves some credit as well.
Danny always deserves credit.
Accurate.
So it looks like Moonrisen, we're on the hunt for something. I know that much. I'm trying to suss out what we're hunting for. Either we've decided that the nacho grind is just not working for us and we're looking for something spicier, or we're in pursuit of gear. Or is it magic?
Oh, a level up like promotion spells, because they only just promoted.
That makes sense. What do we get out of white magic? Not anything there. What about level... Oh. Yeah, no. We ain't getting the Cure 2. The one that we want, we're not getting. What are we getting out of level 2? That heal 3 is not bad. I can't say no to that. And level 3... No, can't say no to those. They're... There's something to be said for Xfer if we could find a low-level Brack somewhere. I don't recall seeing it anywhere functional.
Yeah, I don't remember on Brack. But although, like, any of them would work, I guess, right? Cake and Zap are level 1, so...
So, the unfortunate part is...
Oh, you're talking about the Xfer strats?
Yeah, so... For those not in the know, Chaos has 200 M-Def. So whatever you're trying to hit him with, even if Chaos doesn't resist it, it's going to need serious accuracy to work. And even with the benefit of Xfer, the only insta-kill that will still get over 3 into 56 is Brack. That'll get you to roughly a 6% chance. And there it is at level 7. Whoa. I mean, in absence of a better plan, level 7 is there, but eesh.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if it's better to, like, at that point, just to be spamming, like, Zapper Cake or whatever for the 3 and 256
Mhm.
versus trying to do the X for Brack strats. I'm not sure what
X for
ends up.
Brack. X for Brack is one of the few times I would prefer to have a white mage because it's a question of what I'm doing with the action on my turn that I could be better spent doing anything else. And white mage is frequently in a chaos fight a reactive class. Like, we got to get our evasion stacks up, but after that, I'm waiting until I take sufficient damage that I want to blow a heal spell on something. And when there are turns where I don't have that, tossing Exfer is not the worst thing in the world.
Sure, yeah. And
Your
Jesus...
your
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, Jesus asking if X for stacks, it does not. You only need to land it once, and it removes all resistances.
Yep, it only strips resistance. It does not cause vulnerability.
Yep.
But it'll make your fire, ice, and lightning 3s do more damage. And it'll knock mute up into 6%. In the absence of Brack, X for mute is kind of a spicy option.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But X
for mute has won me a match before.
Yep.
Sorry, I was gonna say X for mute has won me a match before.
The only downside
nice.
is that it's usually the same white mage that is attempting to Exfer, which is a 20% chance, into mute for a 6% chance, and boy, those are some low odds that I don't like seeing.
Yep.
Yeah, it was definitely down to my last option, but it hit.
Technically, you could land Sleep 2 as well, but that's only going to last one turn. So
Yep. You buy yourself a whole free turn.
6% chance to a free turn. That's good. A hold is another option. That's another one that's got a 6% chance.
And Chaos has a strong chance to break out of a hold, but not like it's not on Sleep 2 level. Like you might get some solid rounds of paralysis out of it.
I'm feeling like it's the same for all enemies, like just a base either 10 or 25% chance to break out of paralysis. Not 100% sure on that though.
I might be incorrect about this, but my brain is telling me that it is based on MDef, but it's filtered through some calculation after that.
Yeah, it's quite possible I'm thinking of like the player's chances rather than the enemy's chances, because sometimes those are the same, sometimes they're different.
Mm-hmm. So we're on Temper and Lock 2 strats. We ate the nuke and everyone survived. This is a good start. 6 hits 182 out of the Thief, 5 hits 387 out of the Knight. Cure 3 goes off, patches up our Black Mage. Fast goes off. I saw us attempting cheeky slow 2 strats, but I don't think they connected. Fire 2 does Fire 2 things. Let's try some more melee options. 935, that's a good start. If that Thief does anything, 285, no, we're not there. Still some health on this Odin 2.
Not a lot, right? Yeah.
Yeah. 308, down goes Odin 2. Quick chug, and we are off to Rubicon 2.
Yeah, I'm thinking Moonrise hasn't made it past Odin yet, so this is the first time on Rubicon.
Did I recall?
Alright, getting our usual buffs off. We've got Lock, Saber, and Fast all active now. Thief already swinging for 100, even without any buffs, so that's something. Rubicon, of course, canceling it out with that opening Cure 4, but that's fine. Certainly better to see it there than on Chaos. don't remember quite where Rubicon's health pool was at, but I don't think it was too high, so we're tearing it down at a reasonable clip with the buffs on this fighter at this point. Oh yeah. Rubicon falls pretty easily there. Chaos was definitely a tougher nut, so we'll see how Moonrise handles this fight. Looks like neither the Thief nor the Fighter are using a Ruse Stick at all, so we're just kind of relying more on the white shirt evasion than anything else there. Importantly, we do have both Lock and Fast Cast before any mages have died, so that's certainly a good starting point. Just spamming the Tempers as the fighter starts attacking. Like to see one more lock off. Yeah, perfect. Beefy nuke. I think Slow 1 was next in Chaos's list, spell list, so there might be a little bit of a reprieve after this.
And then if I recall, it's Fire 2 into nuke?
That sounds about right. Yep, okay. When everyone is dying enough on a fight, you start memorizing the whole spell list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see how high the next nuke rolls on the fighter here. Not too bad, not too bad.
We're on drink strat, so that tells me we're out of healing magic.
Yeah, I thought we still had a Cure 3, but maybe it shared a slot with Locke or something.
Mm.
Right, yep, there's the tornado. And the lack of ruse, no, taking us down.
I don't hate the strategy. I'm a big fan of Fighter Thief Red Black myself, and in that situation, yeah, if you're going all in on offense, you're gambling that you're going against a Chaos that just loves its spell script, and you never really have to worry about melee.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, seeing 3-punch Chaos would kind of snap me awake and get my attention and possibly stop and pivot into evasion strats, because 3 punches out of a Chaos is a lot.
Yes.
But I didn't hate the idea behind just going all aggro and hoping that you can kill it before it kills you.
Yeah, like I find it a lot tougher to justify that on this flag set, just since like it can usually take a long time to do that required 4,000 damage or so. But if like it can definitely save like half a minute or even more if you like do go in on it and just take them out because they have kind of low health. So
it does require a sizable amount of power for the Chaos fight itself. Not so much the Fiend 2s. The Fiend 2s you can just muddle through those, but for the Chaos fight, a lot of power and the ability to apply it fast. Like you want a bonk on a primary melee, and you want 3 people casting Temper behind it.
Right, or maybe like a plus 40 strength blessing or something.
Right, and with that -4 max MP, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a much higher difficulty than I think it would ordinarily be. Which is kind of why I'm liking 3 mages in this particular flag set as opposed to 2.
Interesting. Yeah, like it's an interesting dance, and I think that's definitely one strength of this flag set. Like we've seen like different very good players kind of just focus on different strats in that line and then finish almost in the same exact time with a solidly different party. Like, I mean, a thief rainbow versus like a fighter thief two mage
Right.
is a very different party, but they can end up doing about as well.
I have run fighter thief red black since ancient times, and I wanted to take it into this party, but or into this flag set, but the thing is, I usually like to Dan the thief to get experience to the other three, and save on game over works against that.
Yup.
But if the thief has like God mode blessings, then I want one. So now we're back to like it's blessing dependent. It really is. Like if I'm staring at a thief with like 20% hit and 40 strength and something else ridiculous, it's just like, all right, we'll take one of those today.
Yeah, I would say my default leaning on this flag set at this point has been just kind of the most straightforward fighter thief white black mage there. But Blessings will definitely change that up to preference a red mage in there if either the black or white's a little bit worse or the red's a little better. Or if the forced melee we have has really good stuff, then I'll look at that plus the kind of rainbow set, as we were saying there earlier. So it's you got options depending on the blessings and curses for sure.
Yeah, I think there was one practice, or maybe not in this particular flag set, but I know given the right blessing environment, I will willingly take a white mage, but the word sage will be involved.
Well, Sage is so you would run like a Sage red mage and then just a regular white mage then?
I would run a sage white mage.
Oh, that's not a thing. Sage is only for red mages.
I could swear I saw it at one, or maybe
it might have
just,
changed. It might have changed. I don't know.
It might have been a white mage that just had plus black mage spells,
Oh,
which is effectively the same thing.
Right. Well, that doesn't exist anymore. So you, good news. You don't have to take white mages anymore, Fizzle.
Hooray! They patched out the one thing I hated.
But yeah, personally, I do like the white mage harm all quite a bit, and I mean, if you want to get really cheeky, you can do the reset depending on the first magic shop too. Like if you're maybe defaulting to take a red and black, but then like harm 4 is the only good AOE in the first shop, maybe you want to reset and take that white mage instead of one of them there, so you actually have something that can clear the fodder enemies.
Right. There is a time-honored tradition of looking at level 1 magic, resetting, grinding my teeth, re-rolling, and dumping like my red mage for a white mage or something. But just because there's like level 1 white locked fade, and then level 1 black is just like slow lock 2 and fast. Like
it's like, well, those are good spells. They do nothing for me right now.
Yeah. It's like the imps out front aren't gonna care if I slow them. So. So I think we're going to give Moonrisen one more shot at this, and then we're going to give Speed Gaming back their channel, and we're going to send everyone still watching over to cheer them on. So as we're getting ready to wrap this up, I'll toss it over to you for final thoughts.
Uh-oh. I mean, I've been dropping my final thoughts as they've been dripping out mostly, but yeah, like it's an interesting format and neat to try out kind of a team-based tournament here. So for anyone that is unaware of the details, there's some of the linkage in chat. And you can also check out the Final Fantasy Randomizer website there in chat if you want to try it out yourself. Like, I'm still relatively new. Like, I got into FF1 randomizer, like 7-8 months ago or something like that. And, like, for me personally, one of the big draws was, that it's got a whole bunch of really good quality of life features. So we've got, like, the speedboat, we've got the faster animation and walking speed, menu speed. In the original game, you can only buy one potion at a time, and it's, like, reasonable in this. You can buy stacks of however many you want now. Just lots of little things like that make it a lot more pleasant to play. And then you combine that with the sheer variety available. Like, if you just, like, scroll down the tabs on the website, it's like, oh, you could have, like, a million different experiences with this randomizer. And we're always trying to add more new cool stuff over time, too. So keep it fresh. And there's like beginner presets right at the start of the page there. That's kind of gives you a decent place to start from to kind of try it out and see what the randomizer is about, and then you can mix it up from there, where the entire world is procedurally generated, or like all sorts of madness possible. So yeah, it's been fun getting involved in, and thanks to all the people that run the tournaments, and of course our trackers, all three of them, that did a good job helping us out and covering our notes when we weren't sure where everything was. And yeah. Now your final thoughts.
So I'll echo that. I'll give shout outs to Dusk Plume and Phoenix29 and Danny383 for doing all the tracking for us tonight. Entrance Floor Shuffle is a monster to track, and we would be lost, dazed, and confused without them. Shout outs to Speed Gaming for hosting us. Definite shout out to the runners tonight. Go ahead and give the runners a follow, especially Moonris and Phoenix for sticking it out. I'm a big believer in sticking out to the finish where possible, and this is just give them a follow and cheer them on. Stick around. We got all sorts of hot league action going on. Our next race of the week 1 flag set will be Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So go ahead and check us out. Are we going to get to I think we're going to get to Chaos, so we'll give it one more Chaos fight, and we'll have an interview, or we'll sign off.
Yep. And the October 6th race there at 8 p.m. Eastern will be on the Final Fantasy Randomizer Twitch channel, and then October 8th, there will be one at 10 p.m. Eastern on one of the Speed Gaming channels here as well. And so those are the remaining races on this flag set, and then the week after that is Feedback Week.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what that ends up looking like once we start actually racing it.
Mm-hmm. Any preview I could give now would be inadequate. So continuing to go with the slow 2 cheeky strats, not quite sticking. So slow 2 has the benefit of being non-elemental, but it's at BRAC accuracy, so against Tia 2, it's still only going to be around 6% to hit.
Yeah, it probably seems like the original plan was probably to make the accuracy scale with the intelligence stat, but the intelligence stat doesn't actually do anything in the game in practice. So there's a lot of like status things like that, especially that do that have very, very low chances to hit, especially the high level fiends here.
So we survived the nuke. Temper's going off. We're trying still to make it through. We're on melee strats, likely in a bid to conserve magic. 7 hits 501, but the fighter goes down. And that's going to be a reset. And I think that's going to do it for us here on Speed Gaming 1 tonight. Go ahead and please go cheer on Mooners and Phoenix. But for all of us here from the Final Fantasy Randomizer Network, we will see you next time. Have a good night, everyone.
Absolutely. Nice coming with you, Fizzles, and catch y'all later.